Let's start off with the bang. Back on the grind with Ace Attorney. Y'all already know. I'm enjoying this story. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? Well, I think the prosecution is confused as we are. After all. Oh shit, Lana. The victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Ace Attorney. Yeah, we on the Ace Attorney grind, bro. Like the last 2 days, I've just been Ace Attorney posting. That's because I'm taking a break from my wrist. I kind of pulled something when I played Catherine. Because my wrist was killing me the next day. Because holy shit, that Catherine playthrough was a different breed. I'll probably talk about what happened in Catherine on Saturday. Probably Saturday, I'll do a stream. A chill stream or whatnot. And I'll explain what happened in Catherine. Dude, oh my god, it was brutal. I want to get into more details about that later. Like probably a Saturday stream. Because I'll probably stream a different game. Because if I stream today and maybe tomorrow Ace Attorney, I think I'm done with the story. If not by Friday. So, I'll get in more detail about that Catherine bullshit. Especially the part that was blocked content. And I'll explain what the hell happened. Because holy shit, that part that was blocked was by far one of my most stressful moments I had in gaming history, bro. I was pissed. I was getting so fucking irritated. That shit was so bad. But I'll get into detail about that in a later stream. Right now I'm Ace Attorney posting. Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you for too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? It says Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. And that's what I mean, Emma. Oh yeah, the recap. Let's go back. So basically, as a recap, let me lower the game audio on my end. I think you guys will be fine, but just on my end so I can hear myself. So what happened with Lana is at the start, what was the system? Let me pull out this so I can see people's faces. So after we helped the homie Edgeworth's case, which was in the like long ago, fuck, that shit was in May or April, I think we did last time. A long ass time ago, I'll tell you that much, chat. It was a long ass fucking time ago. But once we solved the case of Edgeworth, which was Von Karma actually behind it all, between the whole setup of putting Edgeworth as the victim and Von Karma killing his father years ago and shit. After that, 2 months passed, so we're in February now. This time, however, as we remembered, Maya, which is the younger sister from Mia Frey, Maya, she went to do her spiritual training, if I'm not mistaken. She went to do her spiritual training. So we've been by ourselves for the past 2 months. However, Phoenix Wright hasn't done a case in 2 months until Emma came in, and she asked for Maya to help defend her sister, which is Lana, but Maya's dead. So we said, fuck it, we'll see what's the case about this. Lana is the chief prosecutor of the district, so she's the top of the top. You know how Edwards is top, like the one of the gifted? She's like the leader of all the prosecutors in the district, so she's the top of top. She got accused of murder. On February 21st is when the murder happened and whatnot. She pleaded guilty. She said that she did it, and there was a witness that saw it, and the witness was Angel Star. And oh god, I hated this bitch. Well, she was known as the Kaffa Queen, but yeah, we find out like we're trying to figure out what happened. Emma is our Maya of this story, cause she helps us investigate and shit in the trial too. She's there with us, like jotting down notes and shit. So she's our Maya of the story. Detective Gumshoe is not part of the main investigation. Then we have the one in charge of the investigation is Jake Marshall. He's like a cowboy and western guy from LA, some shit like that. Like the way he dresses literally looks like a cowboy. Oh well, now you meet these two, you go exploring and shit. You talk to Edgeworth. You find out that like there was a lot of things involved. This was the murder weapon that was stabbed. The place where the body was on here. So this is the parking lot where it was. It's split up into two sections, A and B block. A block is used for prosecutors. B block is for any visitors arriving in the building. The car with the blue on it, that was yet again Edgeworth's car. That was used for the murder. It was his car, or whatnot. Yet again, which is ironic. We get like shit from him that he arrived there at 5:12 in the afternoon. The murder took place at 5:15, which is ironically, we know that the guy lost blood between 4 and an hour, which I'm surprised we didn't mention it in the last trial until today. Which makes kind of sense. We saw this note that was, at first this note was reversed, but we didn't know about it until later. The victim in this case is, what the fuck was his name? There's this guy. Bruce Goodman. He was a detective at the time. And he was the one that died, and supposedly Lana killed him. Reasons, I don't know. We searched the area, whatnot. We're trying to see. Trial comes around, we start trialing, and then the witness, which was Angel of the story, she was the witness this time. She was telling that, oh, she did it, but she kept like putting on more bullshit in the lie, but what she did see was still true, but she kept adding more bullshit to the story. Then we caught her in her bullshit. Then afterwards, the whole thing spilled out. And then Damon Gant, which is the district chief of police, came in the trial, telling us that there was a case about Goodman dying. Well, about a detective dying in the police department. Mind you, we didn't know who the other person died in the police department. So the murder that we were trialing first happened in the prosecutor's parking lot, right? But then at the end of the trial, like which was the day before, the end of the trial, we found out that this guy apparently died in the police department's evidence room. He died there. So it was the same guy, died at the same time, because they said at 5:15, which is the same time that happened in the prosecutor's parking lot. So apparently he died in two places at one time. And they had a suspect. And their suspect was this guy. We met this guy giving a report to Edgeworth in the beginning, but Edgeworth ignored it because it wasn't related to the trial. But it kind of was, because he had a report of Goodman dying in the police department, but not in the prosecutor's room, or the prosecutor's parking lot, which was originally where it was. So then they had to postpone the trial to do more investigating on what happened. We find out there was a weapon in the car's muffler, which was this switch knife that we found. This was the picture supposedly taken of her and whatnot, but it wasn't really decisive. There's that. Then we explore like different areas. We have a log record of ID cards, which shows us the moment people entered the evidence room, the day of the murder, which was intriguing that we found out. We had this to find fingerprints, which will come into later, I believe so. We got a screwdriver yesterday. I don't know what this is gonna pose. I have written, documented, and dated the day of the murder can only be submitted to the chief of police, which is apparently Goodman was doing a report of a lost item, but he didn't finish it. I'll show you the evidence room. This is how it looked like. It looked like an L. The little gap on the left was the door, and it was messy. But this room is basically the evidence room, and each detective has their own locker. The only way you can open anybody's locker is literally by fingerprint. Like, you have to have the person's fingerprint on the bitch to open the locker. If not, you get electrocuted shock, which is vital, because the blue represents blood. So we found blood puddle. The blood puddle over there was near the locker of Goodman. There was a handprint on the locker, the second locker there with the blue. There was a handprint there. However, we couldn't find any fingerprints because it looked like they were wearing gloves, but it's still a bloody print. And that locker was Gumshoe, but he's not really related to this. And then we found out at the end that the blue tally next to the door, that locker belongs to Jake Marshall. And one thing, let me explain what the SL9 incident, because we did find it out. Approximately 2 years ago, this was Edgeworth's first big case, like by himself. This was him. Like, this is like his gig. Alright, this was his whole gig. The SL9 incident was his first gig, and apparently it was about a case of a serial killer. And you know how Edgeworth, he does rash ways of getting like the truth or whatnot, or like getting people guilty and shit. And that's when like his rumors started to happen, which is like the rumors we hear about the whole entire game. That he's like he pays for fake evidence, does deals and shit, like threatens the one that's guilty and shit and whatnot. We find out that Lana Skye, Edgeworth, Angel Starr, Jake Marshall, Bruce Goodman, and Damon Gant were all related to the SL9 incident. Angel Starr and Jake Marshall, because Jake Marshall is just a patrolman, and Angel Starr is a fucking like a bento shop, kinda like she just brings foods and shit. But apparently, Angel Starr, Jake Marshall, all the people I named, they were actual like police people. They were all detectives. Angel Starr, Jake Marshall, and Goodman were all detectives on that case. However, apparently, we found out that after the incident, like a month later, people who were related to the case were let go. Jake Marshall was demoted to patrolman. Angel Starr got fired. Goodman was the only one that stayed as a detective. Grant was still district chief when it happened. And the prosecutors don't get punishment because the prosecutors, they did their job, so it doesn't matter. It will not. So Angel Star has a grudge against prosecutors because she's the one that she believes that they are the reason she doesn't have a job anymore. Jake Marshall apparently was a cool dude before the incident, but after the case, he became like more of a cold guy and shit. And he has like the whole Western accent, like a cowboy thing. I do like the whole bit. It's funny and whatnot. And then apparently Mike Meekins is the other suspect that killed Goodman in the evidence room, which is weird. He has an injury in his right arm. No, he has an injury in his left arm, while Lana has a cut in her right hand, which is, I think, is going to be important in this trial. We found handprints here and there. Yeah, like a bit. We did find a vase, but it was missing pieces, so we don't know what the fuck it is exactly. Which I'm pretty sure we'll figure out by the end. But that's the gist of the trial. Right now we're about to find out how are both of these related and how did Goodman be in one place? How did he be in two places at the exact same time? That's what we're about to find out. Let me raise the volume on my end so I can hear the gameplay. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky? We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? Modern Warfare 3? I'm surprised. We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Let's go. Oh, I should forgot to mention Gant. Chief Department of the Police, Gant. He's a weird dude. He's like a chilled, laid back. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, the beef getting kind of real over there. Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain in both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually appeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present imperial evidence. I'm partial. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait. What the fuck? I'll look at my schedule in a bit. Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edwards, you may call your first witness to the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Yeah, this guy's a different breed. When the guy starts talking, volume warning, because this motherfucker has a fucking loudspeaker. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I am Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is that will be murderer, sir. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Oh, yeah. Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I never killed anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually... Well, sir, I'm what you call a part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help him, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that in order. Right, yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Alright, let's hear his testimony. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious... Oh, shit. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, and then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Well, he's not telling the truth. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you? Do unto others before they unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need to hear is more info to work with. Yeah, I'm gonna have to press him. Alright. Meekins, we're pressing you. Wait. Press this. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transfer was taking place on that day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? I'll show you what it is. This is the Blue Badger. This. The mascot for the police department. There's a whole bit. Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the chief of detectives, sir. Yeah, there it is. I wasn't sure it wasn't broken during the transfer process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around. Then I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir! A knife! Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood tickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed my hand by his collar. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. See, he must have been desperate. Next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of blood, and then the next thing I knew... Yes? He punched me right in my face, sir. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report of the office that he woke up, the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. That's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. This is what he was telling us yesterday. Well, we need to try and scram some more details from him. For starters, what was an officer from the General Affairs Department doing in there in the first place? Right, let's press him for all he's worth. Damn, Emma. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is, I found it. This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir. I see. Huh? But the number 4989596 is shown being used twice. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Yeah, because he was unconscious until 5:30. Please explain, witness. There's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see, so it was during the second time when... Yes, sir, that's when I spotted the man on the security screen. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Why is it blue? Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins. With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief delivered it? What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. Ah, shit. So this is what I wanted the whole time yesterday. I didn't get it not once. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. And I was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. That's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is good as ever. Bro, this whole trial's been fucking iffy, bro. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word, murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? This will be my first time looking at this too. Glove fell. $5.15. Wait, fuck, I might have to see that. Hold up. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How could we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was the... What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that's the pride of the joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. That's the Blue Badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room in some sort of Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir! As you wish, sir! Let me get rid of this gum. Okay, I'm back. Oh, I'm back. Time to figure out the bullshit. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of true. We did figure about that. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradiction. That's where I have to start. This all sounds true enough, but the victim's body was found in the prosecutor's office. There has to be a mistake somewhere. The real thing's so much more intense than in the movies. Here, you can use the player to watch it as much as you like. The security video? Maybe I should take another look at the footage. Wait. Oh. Oh shit, okay. There's two things in this video. The locker that was open and the ending locker. Because the indicator lamp lights up when it's open. But the safe door, the locker door was closed, but the light was on, so it was open to begin with. That explains why the glow fell. Oh shit. What he says is true so far. However, we just found that. So, is it... I mean, he opened the locker, which required... I think it's this statement. Or is it... Or we should press. I think we should start pressing first before I conclude anything. I'm gonna press him on that if he's certain. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir! If I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a good point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. That's right. Let's check the court record again. Is there a problem in this case? Yes, there is absolutely a problem. Regarding the video contained in this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradicts leads to the possibility that the man may have not been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have the defense pointing out to us the alleged contradiction in this video. You want me to point it out? Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out the problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up as... I set it up so you can fast forward, rewind, and pause down the video. Just take a good look and make sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy even become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Goodman? Bum 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 bum. That. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me? Sir? As I understand it, the locker... Why the fuck is it playing this song? The locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the locker is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong in this picture. Because it's on. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind it to a little earlier. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. What the fuck? Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When the door is shut, a sensor is triggered. And the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know. Must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect the report in any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed the system sensor? Something jammed the sensor? Say... There's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well. Let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause for this. Which I'm pretty sure is the glove falling. Please watch closely. This is a continuation of the part I showed you earlier, which is the glove falling. Which I did notice that, but I did notice the locker open on that one. So... Boom. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I have to fall out and roll great distance when I... We can't be sure that an item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of the 3 times it gets stuck on the door when I get out of the patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me. But the object would have been extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, there might have just been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator, you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was the insulator that was stuck in the locker door? The glove! I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. What? We can't be sure that it was in the victim's locker. As a tag that says the SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp arrest attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear so, sir. Order, order, order! So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense was merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you meant that, sir. Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Very well. Begin your testimony. Mystery Man 2. There's one other thing that proves that man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Shit, yeah, you're right, bro. An ID card record, I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim. Just before the crime. Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transfer. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transfer there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. Enter the evidence room, you must use their ID card. When the ID card is used, there's a record of it. And at the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? Problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth's to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir, he didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. I mean, maybe he just panicked. Everything seemed... Things from competition, let's point them out. Boom. That means I can contradict. I gotta see. Boom, boom, boom. Fuck, what could it be? Can only be submitted to the chief of police. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Wouldn't it be this? Wouldn't it be this? Wait 1 moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room of the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. There's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report? It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to follow out this report. Let me guess. You believe there's something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Oh! I didn't think about it like that. I did not think about it like that. Ah, that makes sense then to me. I get it. Order! So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order! Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense argument. At 5:15 of the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There were two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes? What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive to a single conclusion. If the victim in the video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is, well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in the video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 of the day of the crime. So the real crime can only take place in one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Ms. Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the murmur of the defendant use the murder weapon. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. That was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this? Nah, we ejecting, bro. There's one clue that brings us to it. It's at the end of the video. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proved one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident of the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witness for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, who do you have in mind? Someone we have a reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear the person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person who you would have testify, what is his or her name? Jake Marshall. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edward know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel like we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense request. Says he was responsible for guarding the room. We should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. What the fuck? Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Alright. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana. You're the one who knows everything? Emma. You've always known everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? There's my boy. Alright. Oh, I gotta get his scratchy voice. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making the detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here? I see happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. You better be, pal. Hey! Hey, hey! 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 I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky! That's okay, so, have you brought what I asked? Oh! Oh, 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 oh. You mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making it my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here. It might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were the witness in that case. Miss Guy was a witness? Just what the hell happened? Joe Drake killing solved 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with the serial murderers. Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana! This SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Drake killings. The Joe Drake. Am I saying Drake? That's not Drake. Is it Darky? 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 I guess Darky. Joe Darky? No. No, Lana. That's over with. No! Emma, wait. She ran away. You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, Papa, but I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. What? That's it? I could have did the trial yesterday and ended it off on a cliffhanger. Dude, what the fuck happened? February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. I didn't even get to read it, man. Fucking mean I can't read. Alright, I'm gonna read it. Incident number SL9. Perpetrator Joe Darky. Criminal serial murder. Crime serial murder. Sentence death. Shit, why did it buffer? Victims: Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeff Bates, Jason Knight, Rachel Moss, Neil Marshall. Oh shit, Neil Marshall? Head Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Witness Lana Skye, Emma Skye. Investigation Task Force. Execution. Executive Investigators. Damon Gant, Lana Skye. Head Investigators Bruce Goodman. Investigators Jake Marshall, Angel Starr. Neil Marshall. What does this have to do with anything? The court will now reconvene for the trial of Ms. Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guiding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Does he do his theme song? Witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh, yeah, it does his theme song. Let me get into character. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man same as you, wandering in the trials of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross the intersection when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get out with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony on the day of the crime. In plain old English. I'm still gonna do the accent. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was on the street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling ammo. So if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I can't say I practically care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cow spoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers. Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of new flag doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. White, he's all yours. Yeah, like if I what the fuck am I saying? But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? And you hear the word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No, Desperado. I know let's rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, Just between you and me, I didn't set a foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in the crypt in weeks. How did this guy avoid being fired? What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel steak lunches can beat the Parlors Von Gogh spy pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperado eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, do you not want to raise this year? Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner, or as you call it, evidence. If you plan to pin to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you'll just waste my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently my superiors don't. Your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it though, better up the ante. Wait one sec, chat. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, fuck. Besides, the room is protected. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. Oh, wait. No. That one. No. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here? Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respect, that is. Make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. Nah. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained finger tests were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away, however. The Illumino test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall, it seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on their shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the bloodstained fingerprints. Well, very well. You may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstain handprint. The murderer touched the locker when my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know that the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it. Where the fuck did you get gloves? The witness explanation appears valid. Although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubts, partner. Alright, this guy's hiding something. I can feel it. That's my chance to prove it. I know for a fact the first one I can press. I don't know about the other one. There might be more. I don't know. That's because you... How did you put... Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happened to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's there now is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my friends weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker programming. Must have been using the fingerprint lock all the time without even knowing it. That one. Fuck you mean he knows gloves? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I'll keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, though, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place the hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint? That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? The seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with the cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime? Isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots. Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's positions, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you could show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Very well. Allow me to point to your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us the incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. Boom, boom, boom. Fast forward. Take that! Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Please sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witness, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I had to get a water. My mouth getting kind of parched. Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order. It will seem that that's the... Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and snuck it in. It's not my fault he had it. I happened to choose mine. Dog, they're fingerprinted. What the fuck you talking about? Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade. You're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it. Is it the safe? Right? Yeah, it's the safe, I guess. Ah, fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? I only got 1 word. Oh, what the fuck? Order, order, order! Witness, explain yourself. This is a joke. It's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these 4 plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. White has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Boom, 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 boom. That's him. He's the victim. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There? But that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he knew for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. I think he took out a knife. Yeah, he pulled out a knife. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed this, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? Oh, damn, he's gone real quiet. You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for it. It's called circumcision evidence. Circumcisional evidence? Is he still denying it? You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beer, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond the shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see in the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who shouldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. So obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall, there's no place to go. Return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in the disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yeah, he did, despite the chance he might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact with the white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that. He opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have evidence, so this video may be my only shot. Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us the witness had to open his locker. Wait, what the fuck am I looking for? What the fuck am I looking for? Hmm. Oh, got it. Here it is. Is this? Is the blood from the hand? For some reason, you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman and enter the evidence room. Though I don't know what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, he pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. The bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. It was the coat. I didn't realize it. It was the coat I'm looking at. That's what it's in the locker. Well, apparently. Now then, Officer Marshall. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago. If you were only half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. Seems the time has come. What the fuck, Buck? I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID, and just like him, I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. Well, there's one thing I still don't understand. The traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor at the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meek has managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. That was way too much blood for such a small donation. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? That Cell 9 incident. 2 years have passed since the case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transfer of that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. The case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That must... Okay, so that means that Neil Marshall is probably his brother or some shit. That's why. That day was my last chance. That's why. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'll be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. That really was why Goodman started filing out that lost item report. I'll return his ID card. I left it on the floor of the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean, the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. Unless these two were colluding. Yeah, I've been thinking, what if they were colluding? Yeah, that means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is one in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his race this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and... So you did your research beforehand. Those who go in the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day. But the blood found at the scene of the crime indicates the crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on the tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Oh, shit. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty? Someone must have stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did he do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are even valid situation or valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. But the case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joel Darkey was convicted of his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Darkey case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that trial? Or that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling he'll wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related to some way to the case. I better take another look at the files. I really want to know more about this incident. What the hell actually happened in the trial? Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. And the list of murder victims. Niall Marshall. Are you related to this man? Niall Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? Must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. What's his relation to you? I knew it. I knew it. It was his brother. He was my brother. He was investigating the murders of Damon Gann and the then deputy chef of police. The group of detectives that was part worked under them, and they were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Darkey. My brother fought Darkey and was killed. That was the first time Darkey left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have... Oh shit, I had to do his voice. My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Darkey. I know my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than that the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department at the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with the resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Shit! We're back to square one then. It's still Lana. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance. It's got to be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of this crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. And we're back to square one. God damn it! Fuck! But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident of the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There's yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries of the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place in the prosecutor's office, and the only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony on one Miss Angel Star is completely uncontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. I rest my case. The fuck is he playing? Wait, is Pal World out? Oh no, it isn't. I was about to say. I thought Pal World was out for a second. Got my hopes up and shit. I thought it was. I thought Power World, that somebody was playing Power World for a second. Seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. This proving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt that what I've proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Hold it! Emma? What the fuck? Your Honor, wait! Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking you for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in a shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Darkey killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky sisters were in the file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found in Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but if I examined it scientifically, I was sure to find a clue. So, I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, that a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, I can't be more of use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with the blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong in the handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intensely at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something like when drawn, we completely changed the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all the evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? Which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? There's no fucking way. It can't be, can it? Is it really the Blue Badger panel? What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So what? Watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it will be impossible to place a handprint at the spot of the locker. Oh shit, yeah, oh my fucking god. This son of a bitch. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces are undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger in the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would have been impossible to leave the handprint on that locker. So that means this blood mark, it was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in? Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched blatherdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hands from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time, someone, but prior to the struggle shown on this tape, it had to have been. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to the Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place at the evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well. Then tell us, when did the first incident occur? As Mr. Wright said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? It has to be this, right? If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killing would have had to enter it. In order to do so, the ID card would have been required. An ID card. Oh! The ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see, 4:50. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured that out on their boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure it out. Could have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. I mean, if it was him... It's clear from the luminal test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. It would have just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. Unless it's the one at 420. No, but that means Edgeworth would have saw the blood. Fuck, this is hurting my head. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. I'm not saying all sevens. I'm not doing each individually seven. I'm just saying all sevens. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? There's no record of his card being used beforehand. He must have entered it along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with all sevens. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is all sevens. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that card ID card, at least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number all 7 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such person's identity. But that's ridiculous, just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Yes? No, not you. To her. Defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number. And it's not all 7s. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. And that trial 2 years ago. Do you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime in the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana! Even if it involved forging evidence. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No! Order! 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 Oh, shit, bro. Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in their courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Oh, shit, dude. Shit got real. Oh, my God. Dude, what the fuck? That one was crazy, bro. February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Writing Co Law offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Darkey killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. True, I'm in the blind. I wanna know what the fuck happened. Lana wanted Darkey convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Darkey's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Darkey tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you. Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Darkey's trial. I didn't see that one coming. That's the incriminating evidence. Emma as a witness. Emma was 14 when it happened. Alright, Chad, I'm ending here. Oh my god, the story gotten so fucking good. God damn, this is so good, man. Fuck, I'm loving this trial right now. It's by far my favorite so far. This trial is going crazy, bro. Holy shit, bro. This shit's had everything. Alright, I'm gonna end it here and pick it up tomorrow or Friday. I don't know, I'm deciding whether or not one of those days will be my day off. I do want to have a day off so I can basically Pokemon Shiny Hunt. That being said, I'm ending it here. The trial was fucking great. It was shorter than the first one that we had. The first trial of the day. Of this story. Like, the first trial was a little bit longer than this one. Mind you, fucking Angel Star did not help that trial at all. She kept dragging that shit on for so goddamn long. But this one was pretty cool. I love this one. And the story just keeps getting fucking better in this one. Holy shit, dude. Alright, I'm gonna end it here. Pick it up either tomorrow or Friday. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. That being said, I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, Friday, chat. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.